I'm Suresh Makhija, a seasoned corporate travel professional and author of The Rookie Corporate Gardener. The book is available on Amazon and is a must-read for colleagues who have been or are likely to be affected by the growing magnitude worldwide of layoffs, downsizing, or furloughs. I'm delighted to be hosting The Journey Manager, which is the corporate TMC series for the Dope News. I look forward to bringing to you fruitful insights from the perspective of the corporate service providers, particularly the travel management companies. Hello, everyone. Great to be back again with another guest to talk about the TMC's perspective in the COVID-19 disruption and lockdowns. I have with me today Ashish Kishore, who is the Managing Director for India for American Express GBT. Ashish has been in the industry for several long years, actually, and has headed other organizations as well. Without further ado, let me welcome Ashish. Ashish, could you thank you for taking out the time and being with us today. Let's start with a little bit of a background as to how you got into the travel industry and your journey so far.
Sure, absolutely. So first of all, thank you, Suresh, for taking time out and having this chat. It's good to communicate our thoughts in this time and period. Obviously unprecedented, but there we are. This is something which we can't avoid, and we sort of existing in the system. As far as my journey concerned, I started working in 1996 after completing a management course. And in last 24 years, I've worked with very many different organizations, including 2 startups, both e-commerce, Yatra, Make My Trip. Also worked with established organizations like Cox and Kings and Air Travel Enterprise, as well as the SOTC CUNY organization. My last stint before joining Amex was with Donata. HRG Donata at that point of time, which gave me an exposure towards the corporate side of business. And I can say that I've seen all different facets of business, have sort of grown the organization. It's been an enriching journey. I've made lots of friends like yours in the last 24 years. I have seen the industry growing from a very manual set to a hugely automated industry. India is a complex market, have seen the aviation growing tremendously, the accommodation changes happening, customers changing, their buying behaviors changing. So yeah, it's been a very, very interesting journey. COVID couldn't have brought any more challenging time to all of us. I think all my experience got used, and at some point of time it became worthless because this is such a new situation to deal with. I think so far so good. We've been holding, as Amex GBT, we've been holding our ground very firmly. I think the organization was, amazingly fleet-footed to, very quickly start up around setting up processes to manage the pandemic. Our first phase was focused a lot on ensuring that our travelers are safe. Then very quickly we came back into ensuring our employees are safe. Those 2 were our first focus. And then very quickly we moved to the third focus, making sure our business remains safe. And that's what lots of planning has been happening. Protecting our customers is important. But now we're seeing a bit of revival. So that's where we are.
Great. So the impact of COVID, I think, has been spoken about endlessly. How do you see the industry actually panning out post the lockdowns and once things start getting going? I'm not saying getting back to normal, just start getting going.
So I think we've got to answer your question, I have to rewound back 4 months. And I'll be very honest, 4 months ago, I had the opinion, and most of the leaders around the world had the opinion, that we don't know the end of this crisis. And as we stand today, we still don't know the end of crisis. As a business strategist, we know that our job is to create a strategy. But strategy is always created around a point of arrival and point of departure. It may be a business strategy, people strategy, but there are some knowns and some unknowns. COVID, interestingly, is a complete unknown zone still even now. So 4 months ago, we didn't know much about this problem and how it will span out, how it will close. 4 months down the line, we're still in the same phase. In the country, numbers are high. Worldwide, numbers continue to be high. Each and every leader, political leader, institution, as well as the industry body, when we look at travel, everybody's figuring out the end game. But the fact is, there is no end game in the near side. What is there is an interim game. And I would like to retain my focus in playing the interim game, which means readjusting my strategy as the situation changes, or for better, or if it deteriorates, in both ways. And we'll have to keep adjusting it. In management books, Suresh, there is something, this whole process is called agile thinking or design thinking. But we generally used to apply this model in new innovative sides of business. So there was one established side of business, which you would have a defined strategy of 5-year, 6-year roadmap. And then you will implement an agile or a design thinking on your future roadmaps or innovative or your problem areas. But suddenly the design thinking principles now are applying on our day-to-day business. What I and you would discuss today may not be valid tomorrow if vaccine comes through, or 2 weeks down the line. And then the entire situation would change. Or Government of India suddenly decides to change the flying game rules. If those rules change, the game would change immediately. So as of today, the situation is very sort of fluid right now. And for once, everybody has to learn to live with fluidity. There is no certainty.
Great. Yeah, I mean, that's a very interesting thought process, Ashish, to play the interim game and not,
The end game.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very, very interesting concept. So how are your teams taking this approach in terms of not looking way beyond, but just focusing more on the present or immediate future?
So what we did was we very quickly went back to GBT's core value, which is people for progress. And we very quickly aligned ourselves around what do we represent, who we are. And I think in those values, you find the answers to a lot of questions that you might pose. And that holds true for a family, and GBT is a large family. So, even in family, you go back to your value and culture. Similarly, in GBT, we've also gone back to our values and culture. So first and foremost value was our customers, protecting our travelers. And I think that's where we went back very quickly. The second was to focus on our people. So when I'm now talking to my employees or my teams to live in this world of fluidity, the only two aspects which is taking away the uncertainty is one, that our existence is for our customers. And that suddenly makes a lot of things very clear. Okay, why we are doing what we are doing. What is my priority today? If the situation is fluid, then what do I do today, right? That's the question everybody asks. So to prioritize that, put customer first, then people, and then the business. If as soon as you quickly align these three, we are home.
Yes, that's true. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the underlying theme that has been adopted by GBT globally, including India, is to restore confidence. Am I right as far as that's concerned?
Correct.
Yeah. Right. So, what's been the underlying thought process behind that? There's been a great amount of visibility in social media around this theme. So, could you share some insights?
Sure. So our thoughts around ensuring was that, as I mentioned, we went through the first two steps, and now the world was waiting for travel to resume. But then this statement that travel would resume has a lot of questions in people's mind. And as a travel provider or a travel leader in this space, it's our job to ensure that we answer to most of these questions. And that is why GBT was quick to start. We used our tech team and the worldwide resources to very quickly jump into and innovate on this particular element. And we created a product called Travel Vitals. Travel Vital is such an amazing consolidation of all the world information has innovative tweaks in terms of if you're flying to a particular destination, you will very quickly get information about that. You're planning a travel. If you're on a mobile app, then you will get to know the information about the airports you're about to reach, and so on and so forth. So this is an information in hand of traveler, consolidated information, which is also sort of compiled together by GPT. This information is what will provide confidence to people that, yeah, I have somebody who's looking after me. And that's where overall our mindset has been, that we wanted to use the Travel Vital to bring in people, uplift people's confidence so that they sort of become more confident about traveling. And this will also help us create consistency, because from consistency of information, it will breed confidence. And we believe that once we breed confidence, it will eventually stimulate demand. Eventually we are saying that the entire business travel ecosystem is about championing each other. It's no better time when our objectives have been better aligned between us and airlines and hotels and ground transporters. So we need to make sure that we sort of remain aligned in providing the right approach.
Yeah. And how is your staff taking or reacting to these measures?
Oh, staff is really loving because until now they've been getting, calls and information, request for information from the customers or travelers directly or travel managers directly. Plus the situation, as I mentioned earlier, was very fluid. In fluid environment, the information flow is very heavy and very fast. So Travel Vitals is allowing us to consolidate that information and ensure that we give the right information back to traveler. Plus, it also restores confidence in the staff. So they're able to service and communicate better with customers.
Are the customers, your corporate customers, either the travel leads or travelers themselves, making any unique asks of your travel consultants or your account managers at this point of time?
I think each organization, as I mentioned earlier, is reacting very differently because of their geographical spread, thereof the business that they are in, and each business impact on a particular economy. We deal with a lot of global customers, so their challenges are very different than local customers. Their priorities are very different. So yes, there are unique asks by a lot of different corporates. But that's where the years of experience and established process comes into picture. And that is where I think a lot of our customers are realizing the value of partnering with GPT. And I'm sure a lot of prospective customers would be definitely looking at that, why in such times you need an experienced TMC to help them.
Right.
Even the travel policies are going to go fluid. Even the operational model is going to go fluid. There is everyday change in quarantine request of each state. So even in India, if I have my operations in 4 different cities and I am an FMCG brand where business is not impacted, how do I manage my distributors? Is it one unique ask? Now they have to travel. How? So those are some of the unique asks. And yeah, we've been around to support our clients around that.
Yeah. Do you see the industry changing, any fundamentals of the industry changing post the pandemic?
Well, I can be, this is something that we will all speculate, right? Because we don't know what the real change would be. See, the revival still would be in another 3 to 6 months. We will not see deep impact in the industry. We will see impact in the industry, but we won't see disruptive change in the industry, because most of the small travel agents, when I use the word small, I'm saying who operate in their own geographical region. By no value, I'm saying they're small with volume or anything. With limited span and limited geographical spread, for them, it's very easy to reduce their cash flow rather quickly and then sit tight waiting for the business to emerge. Right? Most of the travel firms in the country have done that. Larger firms have enough liquidity to sustain this 6 to 9 month of period. Those who haven't got capability, I think they have enough brand strength to gain that liquidity and survive this 9 months. But if this flows beyond 21, that's the time most of these guys would look for alternative revenue streams. And most of the employees will go into a different businesses because travel will not be able to sustain. And same would happen with airlines, the airports, because the entire business will become immaterial. All the infrastructure would not be of use. But I'm a firm believer that travel would come back, because there is no way human life or business can sustain without socially meeting each other. These video and digital conversations are good, but they're only good for some time. I would still love to have a coffee with you at some point of time, right? We're just waiting in our homes, and so is business. So revival of corporate travel and leading to leisure travel is inevitable. Human spirit is about socializing. So nobody's going to keep us away. So I firmly believe that in next couple of months, we'll start seeing revivals. And in 21, we will have not complete revival, but decent revival. And that would bring the industry back to same sort of tonality.
So what other initiatives can TMCs take in the interim?
Well, I can't talk about any of the TMCs. I can only talk about GVT. So sure. I don't want to give generic statement about what all TMCs can or should do. I think this is no better time to demonstrate your values to your customers and your employees. Leadership is tested at this time, and leadership resolve is demonstrated at this time. You have to demonstrate your resolve, irrespective of how much pressure you are under with, or the organization is, or your customers are putting unreasonable questions as you or requests as you asked earlier. But this is a time where you have to stand up and do what is right for your customers, still within your value zone. So your value drivers have to be your, I would say guiding stars. But within that guiding star, you have to do what is right for your business, as long as you can do until revival comes.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure revival would come in Q4 or early part of 21. And we will sort of bear through this storm for a while.
No, I appreciate your...
One cannot let go the customer centricity at this time. This is sort of I would say the biggest test of any leadership in the world or any business.
I appreciate your focused approach, Ashish, and I think it's coming out very clearly, the well-planned approach in an unplanned situation or in a fluid situation. Ashish, what is a message that you'd like, just in a couple of sentences, what is a message you'd like to give out to more to travel consultants and other younger professionals in the TMC world who are at this point of time probably grappling with the uncertainty and haven't experienced any kind of uncertainty like this before?
So my message to them is is that life's not going to end if the travel disrupts or a work disrupts. It's at the end of the day about human spirit, Suresh. We'll have to repurpose, reskill, relearn ourselves at all times, right? Sometimes we become comfortable in our situation, but this is not a situation to remain comfortable. This is also not the time to sit back and relax, because the journey is going to be tougher. So if you are inside your home, then read, reskill, repurpose yourself so that you're ready for any challenge the environment throws at you. And if you don't get challenged at the end of 6 months, very well, you've acquired a new skill. But if you get challenged in 6 months, this new skill is going to help you. and the life is long. This is just an interim 1 year period in our at least 90-year lifespan. So I'm looking at that one glitch, and let's move on. This is where the systems are getting rebooted. Just look at that. Maybe your phone needs a restart. This is what our phones or our systems need, a restart. Breathe in. This is the time to breathe in. Yes, it's very easy to say, very difficult to execute, but then it's okay. We will sort of pass through this phase.
Great. Ashish, I think you've shared some valuable insights, and as well as this message to young professionals in our trade. I think it's extremely inspiring and a good mantra of sorts to get through this phase. So thank you very much, Ashish. I really appreciate your taking out the time to share your thoughts. And I look forward to another opportunity soon to engage in a similar conversation or just have a cup of coffee with you.
So sure, Suresh. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And yeah, lovely chatting with you and sharing my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for watching. I'm sure this has been very insightful. Do like, subscribe and share so that you and others can get benefit of several more of these interviews or chats, if I may call it, coming up in the next few weeks. Thank you again.